Well, the stage is set for the 2014 Major League Baseball playoffs. I'm here to make my picks for both the American League Division Series, both of them, as well as the National League Division Series, both of them as well. So I'm going to try not to spend too much time on all of these. I'm trying to keep this video not too long. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, potentially, but I'm going to try to keep them short and sweet. First off, ALDS, Detroit Tigers versus the Baltimore Orioles. So we'll start with Detroit. Detroit's a very good team. They're very experienced in the playoffs. They have a pretty good bullpen. Their rotation, obviously, is just unreal. 3 consecutive Cy Young Award winners in that rotation. Just listen to this rotation for a second. Scherzer, Verlander, Price, Porcello. Like, I don't know a team with a better rotation other than maybe the Nationals. And I mean, this rotation is built to win right now. A great rotation. Like I said, 3 Cy Young winners, and not only is that rare on one team, but they're consecutive. So I think that they got a lot going for them. And also like Ian Kinsler and obviously Miguel Cabrera, very good hitter. Obviously, we all know what they can do. We've seen them. We've seen them be really good. And I think they can do some good things in this playoffs. Everyone thinks this is their year. Well, you know, everyone thinks the other teams in the playoffs their year too. But you know, this is a good Detroit Tigers team. Moving over to Baltimore a little bit. Baltimore has obviously they have a really good offense. They've been hitting home run crazy. Their offense. Victor Cruz, 40 home runs, leading the majors. That is a lot of home runs. 40 home runs is a lot. They got that crazy offense. But, you know, their rotation and their bullpen's not as good. And they are missing a few offensive components. They're missing Chris Davis, Manny Machado, Matt Wieters. I mean, they seem to be winning without them pretty good. I don't see that being a huge problem in this series. I mean, it could cost them, who knows. But I think this offense is pretty well built. However, though, in the playoffs, I mean, you have to have good pitching, good rotation, good bullpen. I don't see their offense carrying them as far as the regular season has carried them. I don't think they're going to win this series. I have Detroit winning the series in 5. I just think that Detroit's just a little bit better. Their pitching obviously is way better. But other than Tillman on the Orioles, their rotation isn't really much of anything. It's kind of like, you know, if you don't get that win with Tillman, then you're in trouble with this series. So I think Detroit wins it in 5. Going on to the other ALDS series, got the Royals and the Angels. Something about the Royals, obviously they have a pretty big chip on their shoulder after that crazy AL wildcard game. That was a very entertaining game, I must say. I'm not a fan really of the Royals or the A's for that fact. I'm just a fan of baseball. That was a really good game to watch. Especially the end. Wow, you know, the Royals had so many opportunities to capitalize on runners at third, runners at second. You know, runners in scoring position. They had it 3 consecutive innings, I believe. They had a runner on third that they didn't capitalize in extra innings too. Well, but it was good that the Royals ended up winning that game. They deserved that win. They were aggressive. They stole, what was it, 7 bases? I think they stole that game. 7, 8 bases. I think they set a record for the most stolen bases in a Major League Baseball playoff game or something like that. I don't know. I just like the way they played that night. I don't see them being consistent though. I don't see that good of an offense, the luck that they had that night. I don't see that carrying over to this series against the Angels. The Angels, you know, they have a good bullpen. Their rotation's not as good as their bullpen, but I think the rotation obviously is solid if they've gotten to where they've gotten now. And then you got all this pressure on Mike Trout. You look at him; he's supposed to be the next, you know, great player in the major leagues. there's a lot of pressure on him. He's making his Major League Baseball postseason debut tonight. I think if he has a bad game, it's going to set the tone for this series. It really is. There's a lot of eyes on Mike Trout, a lot of pressure on him. I hope he does good. I respect that whole Angels organization. I think they're a good organization, especially since I don't really like the Dodgers that much. But I mean, other than that, I like the Angels. I think they're pretty good. I think the Angels are going to win this series. I think they're going to win it in 4 because, you know, they got the first 2 games in Anaheim, which could potentially be big. I think they'll win. I think they'll win both of those games. And then I think when they go back to Kansas City, they might take one. But I think the Angels will go back to Kansas City and put it away. Like I said, I just think the Angels are a little better than the Royals. Royals aren't consistent. I don't see them being consistent in the playoffs, anyways. So yeah, Angels in 4. That's my prediction. Now we're going to the NLDS, a series that a lot of people are probably excited about, which is the Giants and the Nationals. First 2 games are in Washington. I think that the Giants and the Nationals are both very good teams. I think the Giants' power ranking just moved them up a bit after that win. That dominating performance by Bumgarner, that total complete game shutout by him, and then the offense that came alive for the Giants against Pittsburgh in a wild card game. I think that game was just that was just a very big tone setter, I think, for the playoffs for the Giants at least. I think that they have a lot of confidence built back. Not a lot of people had confidence in them going into this game in Pittsburgh, and they completely destroyed Pittsburgh. I didn't think that the Giants were going to win that game. I thought it was going to be close. I didn't think any team would win by more than 2 runs, but wow, was I wrong. Bumgarner, very good pitcher. I see him as almost as good as Kershaw. I do. I think him and Kershaw are the 2 best pitchers in the National League. I don't think too many people would argue that. They just Bumgarner's a good pitcher. Now, you look at the rest of their rotation. I think Bumgarner's obviously the best it gets in that rotation. Peavy, good addition, has won, I think, the last 5 decisions he had. But he started off 0-3 for the Giants, so I don't know. He could take a downfall. Obviously, Hudson is on a little bit of a downfall right now, and Vogelsong wasn't really much of anything this season. And obviously, Lentz comes in the bullpen. I think their bullpen's good, though, and the rotation is decent, too, obviously, with Bumgarner, and you got Peavy in there, too. But I think Bumgarner's the best it gets. It's hard to say that they can win a series with this rotation, especially the struggles it's having. Bumgarner's the best it gets, obviously. If you don't win the game Bumgarner's starting in, I don't think you're going to win the series. He'll set the tone. I mean, even though he's not starting in the series, he will get Game 3. I think that the Giants, they're good. They win on the road. They have a great manager, Bruce Bochy. Obviously, they've been to the playoffs. Like, what is this now? 4 out of the 5 last seasons they've had. Trying to become the 5th team in MLB history to win 3 World Series in the span of 5 years, which I think they can do it. They do have some confidence built back in them. They're experienced in the playoffs, definitely. So now, you know, enough with the Giants a little bit. Shifting over to the Nationals, they got that stud rotation. I don't think that rotation. I guess it could get better, yes. But wow, do they have what they need this year? They really do. Zimmerman, Strasburg, Roark, Gonzalez, Pfister. I mean, come on. That rotation is just locked down. That is a very, very good pitching rotation. They're a very good team. LaRoche, Worth, Span, they all had really good years. Rendon had really good years. A really good year this year. I mean, I think that rotation and that offensive presence that they bring is enough to win this series. I think the series, I honestly think the Nationals are going to win the first 2 home the first two games of this series, which are both home for the Nationals. I think they're going to win those two. I think when they go back for Game 3 in San Francisco, Bumgarner's pitching, so I think San Francisco is going to definitely take that game. And then after that, I think it's kind of a toss-up almost. I think I'm just going to say, just for the heck of it, I mean, it's kind of a toss-up for me. I'm just going to say Nationals in 4. I think the Nationals, like I said, win the first two games, which are home in Washington for them. Then they go to San Francisco and lose most likely Game 3 with Bumgarner on the mound. He's locked down. He's dialed in. He knows what it takes. He's been here before. He's undefeated on the road in the playoffs. He's now 3-0 with like a 1 point. I think it's like almost 1.05 ERA now after last night. He's pitched a lot of innings in those games too. I believe it's 20. He pitched 25 innings in those 3 games. He's 3-0 with a really low ERA. So he's very good. I just don't think that they can carry over the whole series with what Bumgarner's bringing. I don't see the rotation being as locked down as Bumgarner is. So I think the Nationals will win that in 4. And now for the final NLDS series, you got the Cardinals and the Dodgers. They're playing the first 2 games in Los Angeles. The Cardinals, I think their rotation is pretty good. They got obviously Wainwright and Lackey and Lynn. You know, their rotation's good. They got a pretty decent bullpen as well. I like their bullpen. I think that their offense is average this year. They barely slipped by the division against Pittsburgh, and I think they're not as good as in the years past, the Cardinals. But obviously they're in the playoffs. Every team is here for a reason. Obviously they're somewhat good. I'm not saying that they're bad. I know they're a good team. Obviously, since they're here, it's very hard to make the playoffs. They're a good team. And then, you know, the Dodgers too are a good team too. They're almost I think the only reason they won the division is because the Giants took a very big downfall in the middle of the season. I think that's the only reason that they won the division. Dodgers and Cardinals, I think, are almost pretty evenly matched. Obviously, the Dodgers have the best pitcher in the world, Clayton Kershaw, and then one of the best pitchers also, Greinke. I think them two are almost guaranteed wins. But then you also have Ryu, who he's pretty solid too. I think you can get 2 wins out of the 3 pitchers there. I think Kershaw's almost a guarantee. But you know, things happen. I mean, the D-backs scored 8 runs on Kershaw in the beginning of the season in 1 inning. 8 runs in 1 inning. So I mean, things happen. I don't see anything like that happening in a series against Kershaw. I think that with Hanley Ramirez and Adrian Gonzalez, and you know, you got D. Gordon and Puig for crying out loud, and then their catchers, Ellis and Butera and Federowicz. I think they're almost the deepest. They have the most depth, I think, at catcher in the major leagues, maybe. I think Matt Kemp as well, and Uribe at third. I think that this team is better put together to win this year than the Cardinals. That's just my opinion. I think they're both really good teams. They're both pretty evenly matched. But I think with Kershaw and, like I said, all these weapons they have on offense, I think that the Dodgers will win this series. But I think it'll take 5 games to win this series. I really do. I say they get a split in Los Angeles with the first 2 games of the series. And then I think they go back to St. Louis and they get a split there too. I think they're going to be tied at 2 apiece going back into Game 5, back to Los Angeles. I think with the fans they got in Los Angeles and just kind of like the will that Los Angeles has to win, I think that they will win this series. And then after that, you know, who knows? But I think the Dodgers will win in 5. So yeah, that's my rundown, you know, of my predictions. Like I said, I have Detroit in 5 against Baltimore, the Angels in 4 against the Royals, the Nationals in 4 against the Giants, and the Dodgers in 5 against the Cardinals. Like I said, I'm just a fan of baseball. I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible. I love watching the game of baseball. It's a very interesting game, especially in the playoffs. It's so unpredictable, as we saw in the National League wildcard game against with the Giants against the Pirates. This game is so unpredictable. I think I think the fan base for Major League Baseball is growing every year. I like all the teams. All the teams, I must say, in the playoffs this year have the potential to win the World Series. Obviously, since they're in the playoffs, they're a good team. I just think that you got all these teams that are in the playoffs, all playing good teams. It's going to be a very close race. I don't see anybody sweeping anybody these playoffs at all. I don't see it in the division series. I don't see it in the conference. I don't see it in the NLCS or the ALCS. I don't see any sweeps. I don't see any sweeps in the World Series either. I think these teams are just so good, that the talent is so deep, that I just think no one's going to get swept. This has been a really good year to watch baseball. I'm really excited for the postseason. The stuff I've said might not even happen at all. These are what my opinion is. Anything could happen, obviously. So these are just my picks. I mean, everyone's got their opinion. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I'm just a fan of baseball. I love the game. Sorry, I got my Packers jersey on tonight. They're playing the Vikings on Thursday Night Football. Go Pack, go! But yeah, anyways, this is just my picks for the ALDS series and the NLDS series. I'll be back with more for the NLCS and the ALCS, and then after that I will pick my World Series champion. So good luck to all these teams. Like I said, 8 really good teams in the playoffs. Good luck to all of them. I hope they all do great things, and I hope they all keep us on our toes this postseason and no one gets bored of watching this postseason. I hope no one gets swept. Like I said, I don't think it will happen. I just hope for the best for all these teams. Hopefully everyone stays healthy. Everyone plays clean baseball, and we'll see what happens. I'm really excited to see what happens. So good luck to these teams, and we'll see what happens in the NLCS and the ALCS.